Welcome back, my fellow golf ball addicts. We are continuing on with our top 5 list of the year. I'm going to make as many as I can think of, just to be honest with you, because I know you guys have been asking for them for a long time, and I haven't done them the past couple years, and so it's time to play some catch up. So I've done 3 so far. They've honestly been doing really well. The most recent one, the tour level golf balls, the top 5 have been blowing up. I really appreciate that. There's been tons of new subscribers. If you're new here, we welcome you. If you're new to the channel, my name is Nicholas Moody, and I review golf balls. I'm a golf ball addict, and I don't just review tour golf balls. I review two-piece, direct-to-consumer, under-the-radar, black market. I really dive in and try to find the best value for your money, especially coming from an average swinger like myself. So again, if you're new here, that's what my channel is all about, and we are continuing our top 5 list with the longest golf balls of 2022. So basically, this isn't just 2022. I mean, I've been testing golf balls for the last couple of years, but I'm going to include everything I've tested in this. But also, that is kind of where it gets tricky, because the first year I was testing, I wasn't getting all the results. And another issue I had is that I was using different clubs. I had a Cobra F9 driver. I had, for a while I had like a Cobra beginner set of irons, and then now I have, I switched to the Forge Tech, which was more of a blade, and then now I have the Mizuno, hot metal. That's going to be, I'm going to really keep that as the consistent going forward as far as what I test. That way I just have some even results. So unfortunately, some of these longest golf balls aren't going to be included just because I was using different equipment, and I kind of have to guesstimate based on the clubs I was using how good they really were. But I think I've done a good job. I've spent a lot of time reviewing it. But basically what we're going to do here is I'm going to give you my top 5 golf balls, and when I get to the honorable mentions, I'm going to have a lot longer of a list than I usually do, just because there were some golf balls that tested really amazingly, but this was back, 2 years ago when I swung a little faster and had a completely different club. I mean, the Cobra F9 had a lot better ball speed than my Mizuno driver does, but my Mizuno driver has better forgiveness, so I just kind of traded one for the other. Now, again, I'm not going to base these on different categories, but I will say what I did was I took all clubs into play. I didn't used to test the 9-iron. I used to test the pitching wedge, so I kind of just left those out of it. But the 7-iron, the 5-iron, and the driver, I basically kind of put all the golf balls in that category as far as how far they went, and then did an overall round score. So just because a club was the longest with the driver I had, that doesn't mean it's the longest golf ball. It also has to be one of the longest with the 7-iron and one of the longest with the hybrid or the 5-iron. It has to generally do well in all those categories, and I take the average and it becomes on top. And I'll explain more of that when I dive into them. So without further ado, let's get into the top 5 longest golf balls of 2022. Number 5, Top Flight XL Distance. Now, most of the golf balls I test from Top Flight don't do that well, to be honest with you. They're not that great. But the XL is the one that Top Flight actually carried over from their old brand, and I think for a good reason, because the numbers were very consistent. I didn't get the best 7-iron distance, but when it came to the hybrid, it was in the top 3, and with the driver, it was number 1 at 258 yards average of total distance, which is nuts for me. I don't ever come anywhere close to that, especially nowadays. At the time I tested it, I think I still had my Cobra, but still, that number is ridiculously high to the point where I don't care if I was using the Mizuno, I don't care what club I was using, that by far is the best I've done with the driver as far as distance. And the XL distance isn't going to win you any awards for being the best spin or maybe, curving it from right to left. But if you just need a basic cheap golf ball that you can set down and hit toward the hole and it's not going to curve on you too much and you're going to get a little bit more distance, hey, it does what it's supposed to do. It does as advertised. Number 4. The Mizuno Tour. Okay, so Mizuno golf balls are interesting because they never do anything outstanding. They just do a lot of stuff really decently well. And that kind of was the case here again with the Mizuno Tour. It was ranked 5th in the 7-iron distance, but it was ranked 2nd as far as the hybrid distance. I was really able to compress it, and it was 4th when it came to the driver distance. So none of those numbers, were amazingly outstanding, other than, of course, maybe the 5 hybrid number. But honestly, those numbers just all combined to give it a well-averaged enough score to be in the top 5. And I also, if you remember correctly, I did have this on a couple of my other lists, top 5 as well. Nothing outstanding, but just really good overall scores that let them squeak into the top 5. And sometimes that's not bad. Getting a good, consistent golf ball that does a lot of stuff really well and nothing bad and nothing outstanding isn't a bad thing always. Sometimes golfers want that consistency so they know how their golf ball is going to react. Number 3. The Sugar Golf Ball. So listen, the Sugar Golf Ball was my Value Tour Golf Ball of the year. If you saw that top 5, and for a good reason, it really performs well. I mean, as firm as it is, I didn't expect to get the distance numbers that I did, being an average swinger. But I'll be darned, because I'll tell you what, the Sugar ended up third basically in every category. It was third in distance on 7-iron, third in distance on the 5 hybrid, and third in distance on driver. So it just kind of bronze medaled everything, which actually averaged it to be a bronze medal total. So again, really good numbers there. And when you combine this golf ball with the other features it has, now it's becoming a lot more surprising by the day that it was my tour golf ball, my budget tour golf ball of the year. Number 2. The Cut Red. Listen, I love the Cut Red, and there's a lot of reasons to love it, and to be honest with you, you're going to hear me talk about it on my channel a lot, just because when you're looking at the Cut Red here, I mean, you're looking at 7-iron distance, I was ranked 2nd, hybrid distance, 5 hybrid, it was ranked 5th, and then driver distance, it was ranked 2nd, so all those numbers really add up well. To be able to get a consistently high distant mark from all those, it's just a 2-piece golf ball that goes really far and really straight, and a lot of golfers need that. I know I do when I'm on the course, and that's why it's one of my go-to golf balls if I'm just not swinging the club that well and if I don't need to bend it as much. All right, so real quick, here are the honorable mentions. So again, some of these are going to be because of past videos, or maybe I had different equipment. I had the Mevo versus the Swing Caddy now. A lot's changed in the last 2 years, so I don't know how these golf balls would have performed in this list if I had a little bit more consistent numbers, but I want to shout them out because they are great for distance. So I don't want you to think that these are like below any of these other ones. It's just that because of the last 2 years, I've had to make some changes, and I don't feel comfortable putting them in the list without knowing 100% that they were better than these golf balls I have in the top 5. Starting out, of course, would be the Srixon Z-Star 15. So when I tested these golf balls, which crazy, it's been 2 years now, it's crazy it's been that long, but when I tested this one in particular, I got ridiculous numbers off the driver with it. It compresses so well. The driver numbers weren't necessarily the best with the other clubs, but I'll be honest with you, it just jumped off the club face with that driver, and I had one of the best driving distance totals besides the Top Flight I've ever seen. And both of these golf balls, not only the Z-Star 15, but just the Z-Star, both of them really come off of all clubs really well. The 7-iron, they just, it has like almost a bouncy ball effect, and I love it. So honestly, they're great for distance, but these are going to be for a little bit more advanced players because they are going to spin on you a little bit more. They're going to go left, they're going to go right. So if you're not a great iron striker yet, I would probably stay away. The Vice Pro. So surprising enough, I usually use the Vice Pro Soft, but I was pleasantly surprised at how well the Vice Pro distance numbers were. It's a little firmer, so maybe I compressed it just a little bit better. Instead of trying to finagle the golf ball as much as I want to do with the Pro Soft, maybe this one was just about pure distance, getting a little bit more swing speed. But the numbers were really good, and I really enjoyed it. And Vice has a great value as well, and you can buy them at Walmart or Target. You can get them in a variety of places. Vice has them on their website at amazing value. So the fact that I was able to get a good amount of distance there, it's kind of a no-brainer again. The Snell MTB Black, again, great distance numbers across the board, great spin numbers. It was an amazingly well-rounded performing golf ball. I'd love to test it again, to be honest with you, with the new clubs and stuff, which I will be doing in 2023. But for now, since it was such an old review, I'm kind of left wondering exactly how good these numbers were, but honestly, that Snell MTB Black was an awesome golf ball. The X was just too firm. I couldn't compress it, so I didn't really get anywhere near the numbers, as far as what I should have, especially not as much as the MTB Black. But overall, great golf ball, and I can't wait to see how the new model does. The Bridgestone E6. So this was a golf ball I did test recently, and honestly, the numbers were pretty good. I mean, if you look at the 7-iron, the 5 hybrid, those numbers are really high when it came to the distance, but the driver, I'll be honest with you, was one of the lowest I tested, period. But again, not because of ball speed, not because of anything like that, but because of a very low launch. I don't know why, but the E6 had a very low launch. This one could be a dark horse for the 2023 longest golf ball awards, or even the top 5 golf balls, period, because it performed really well and it kept it just out of the top 5 two-piece list, and now it's just out of the top 5 longest distance. So be on wary. If I have a different day, maybe I get a little bit higher launch, this is a golf ball you could see in a lot of lists next year. Number 1. I'm going to be honest with you, this is crazy that this is the way, but it is the Precept Laddie Extreme, which I know if you're new to the channel, you're probably looking at this like, oh my goodness, what the hell? But before you turn it off, here are the numbers don't lie, and I'll explain myself and explain them to you. So the Precept Laddie, when I did test it, first of all, I noticed just how much it sprung off the club. When I hit, pitching wedge, 9-iron, that was by far one of the longest golf balls I've tested, but I don't even consider that a stat in this. However, when you go to these numbers as far as what I got them from, the Precept Laddie was number 1 in 7-iron distance, number 1 in 3 hybrid distance. It was the only one I got over 200 yards with my 5 hybrid. Sorry, I used to use a 3 hybrid, so sometimes I confuse them, but it's a 5 hybrid, 23 degree. It was over 200 yards total, which was crazy for that number. It compressed, even then, I didn't think it would compress that well, but it did. And then with the driver, you know what? Yeah, with the driver, I'll be completely frank with you, it was 6th. So I lost a lot there. I was compressing it too much with the driver. But when you have number 1, and number 6, it's still averaged to be the best long distance golf ball of 2022 for me, which is crazy because, again, with those irons, I was just able to compress it so much better. And because it performed to such an amazing rate, because again, we're not talking like 1 or 2 yards. The Precept Laddie with my irons went an extra 4 or 5 yards. It was crazy, the numbers there. If you haven't seen it, I have in a tile up here, the review, the full review, but check it out because again, you're talking about a golf ball that's $1 a golf ball, and you just can't beat that value, especially if you're a young golfer and you want to slow your swing speed down just a little bit to make good contact. A ball like the Precept Laddie is going to help you, which I know seems crazy, but it's just a good golf ball. The numbers don't lie. Guys, as always, thank you so much. That is the list of top 5 longest golf balls. We've got more top 5s coming. I'm just going to make some fun ones, some silly ones. The next up, though, is going to be the most spinning golf ball. So I took the golf balls that have the most spin that I've tested, kind of in a similar format like this, and I put them to the test. And again, average golf channel, average swing speed. You're not going to see the Pro V1. You're not going to see, TP5X on that spin list because I don't compress them well enough. So you will be surprised by what you see from that video. But until then, keep watching to keep saving, keep learning. And again, if you're new to the channel, I really appreciate it. Make sure to like, comment, anything. If you have a golf ball you really like, maybe I just didn't test it, feel free to tell me in the comments, just because I'm always wanting to test more and I always want to hear your guys' opinions as well. And it also just helps the channel. The more you like it, the more you comment, all that stuff, the more YouTube recommends my stuff, which has been amazingly with these top 5 golf balls. You guys have done a wonderful job, and because of that, I'm getting a lot more views, and I really do appreciate that. All right, guys, until next time.